Hello Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So Cancer, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. We're going to see how the both of you are currently viewing this relationship and how you guys feel about it and what actions you guys plan on taking each other's direction and are moving forward. So with all that being said, Cancer, let's get started. How does Cancer currently view this relationship? Okay, Cancer. So we do have the Six of Wands, which I do feel is your energy. And then we also have the King of Cups with the Lovers over here. For some of you, you could be dealing with a water sign strongly. So Cancer like yourself, possibly a Scorpio, maybe even a Pisces or a Gemini or a Leo. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but there's somebody fairly new that you find yourself connecting with. Now this connection, it does bring a lot of like happiness, joy, excitement, all of that good stuff in your life. I am definitely getting that. There's a huge possibility that you could very well be falling for this person that you currently find yourself connecting with. But if it's one thing that I will say is that you definitely got somebody falling for you. That's one thing that I will say. You definitely have somebody, and it's a masculine energy that's currently falling for you. Now, we're always going to see how you feel about this person in a second, but before we do all of that, let's look at them and how they're currently viewing their relationship with you. How does this person currently view their relationship? Okay. With Cancer. Okay, so we do have the Nine of Swords, we do have the Seven of Pentacles, and then we also have the Judgment card. Okay, the bottom of the deck, we do have the King of Swords, and then we also have the Empress. This Empress doesn't feel like you. I do want to look a little bit more into this dynamic between these two. I don't feel like these two are together anymore though. That's like what I'm getting strongly, that these two are definitely not together anymore. I do feel like once upon a time they were together, but I don't feel like these two are still together, nor have I feel like they have been in a while, is basically what I'm getting. So these two definitely broke up a little while ago, is basically what I'm getting. These two could have had a child and or children with one another. I am definitely getting that. Or this person could have just been simply dating like a single mom or a single dad prior to essentially meeting you. That's definitely a possibility as well. But I don't know, dude. Like, I just kind of feel like this person that you currently find yourself connecting with, like, they legit gave this Empress their all, okay? They gave this Empress their all. And it kind of looks like their all just simply wasn't good enough, I guess, you know, for this Empress. This Empress comes off to me as somebody who has, like, really, really high standards. Really, really high standards. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having high standards, but that's just kind of what I'm getting innately from, like, this Empress, is that they had really high standards. It just kind of looks like this person's good just simply wasn't good enough for this Empress in particular. But anyways, with the Judgment card to the Seven of Pentacles to the Nine of Swords coming out here, I feel like their relationship with this Empress still kind of affects them till this day. Going back to what I originally said, like, I feel like this person truly gave this Empress their all, to the point where they started to feel like their all just simply wasn't good enough, to the point where they started to kind of feel like they're just simply not good enough and that they're never going to be good enough. I just kind of feel like this Empress made this person feel like, you know, you're not good enough and you're never going to be good enough. Like, it has that type of flavor to it. So even though this person finds themselves truly interested in you, truly invested in you, they're kind of worried and concerned that they may not be good enough for you, is basically what I'm getting. But it's because this person that they were dealing with prior to you made them think, believe, and feel like they are just simply not good enough and they're never gonna be good enough. And this is kind of why I'm saying that their relationship with this Empress, like, it truly did affect them when they were with them. And even though they're not technically speaking with this individual anymore, everything that this individual made this person think and believe about themselves still kind of, you know, affects them till this day, is basically what I'm getting. Now, I do want to look a little bit more into this dynamic between these two. I don't know why, but I'm going to do it anyways. Tell me more about the King of Swords to the Empress. We have the we have the Three of Pentacles to the Seven of Wands, and then we also have the 10 of Pentacles to the Six of Pentacles to the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like this Empress was somebody who was just very hard to, like, satisfy and impress, is basically what I'm getting. Because it does appear to me that, yeah, like, this person truly did give this individual their all. Like they did everything under the sun, homie, to try to make this person happy, to try to keep this dynamic between these two intact and afloat, and it just simply wasn't good enough. It just kind of looks like this Empress was just still not happy and or satisfied. I'm getting that this person, this Empress over here, would convey to like this person that you currently find yourself connecting with that they need to change this, that, and the third about themselves. And then this person will turn around and change this, that, and the third about themselves. And then they would look for something else that this person needed to essentially work on and change about themselves. I am definitely getting that that was another issue, that they would turn around and change like a million things about themselves, and this, you know, Empress would find something else that they need to work on, something else that they need to essentially change about themselves, is basically what I'm getting. Okay. 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 Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, like I said, I don't feel like these two are together anymore, and I don't feel like they have been for a while. I am getting that they might still have to deal with one another because they have a child and or children, you know, with this individual, because I am definitely getting that that might be the case for some, where you currently find yourself connecting with like a single mom or a single dad. But yeah, they might have a child and or children together, and they still, technically speaking, have to deal, you know, with one another. I think that their co-parenting is, you know, for the most part, somewhat good. I am definitely getting that they do have a child and or children together. You know, their co-parenting relationship, it is somewhat good. But other than that, it kind of looks like this Empress has zero intentions, like absolutely zero intentions of being with this person that you currently find yourself connecting with, or rekindling things with this person that you currently find yourself connecting with, like zero interest. And I feel like the feeling is essentially mutual. You know, I think that, you know, these two don't ever want to be with one another ever again. Especially because they're not even showing up as a true pair. That's kind of telling me that these two are like polar opposites of one another. They're like oil and water. They just simply don't mix, moral of the story. But, yeah, so the reason why they're showing up as like the Nine of Swords to the Judgment card, has a lot to do with like what this Empress made them think and believe about themselves, that they weren't, you know, good enough, and that they're never going to be good enough, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like that's kind of like their worry and concern when it comes down to you, is what if you start to feel like they're not good enough? What if you start to tell them they're not good enough? What if they're not good enough? You know what I mean? Like, I am getting that. But how does Cancer currently feel? All right, so we do have the Queen of Wands, we do have the Two of Wands, and then we also have the Eight of Wands. Okay. Now, in regards to how you feel about this person, this is somebody who, like I said, does bring a lot of fun and happiness and joy and excitement into your life. This person also makes you feel really good on the inside. I'm also getting that, you know, as well. I just feel like it's going to take some time before you feel safe and secure enough to allow yourself to go there with this person, emotionally speaking. I am definitely getting that. I just kind of feel like you're somebody who's very like protective over your heart space. So it takes a while, you know, for you to allow yourself to go there with somebody, emotionally speaking. It takes a while for you to just hand your heart over to somebody. So I'm not really worried and concerned about that, Cancer, you know, whatsoever. But I feel like you're very curious as to why things didn't necessarily work out between these two. Because it looks like this Empress that they were dealing with, and by the way, the person that's in the Strength card is the Empress, by the way. It kind of looks like this Empress up and left them, and I feel like you're very curious as to why they up and left them. I just kind of feel like the more you get to know this person, the more you're looking at them like, oh my God, like, you're perfect. Like, why would this person leave you? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would this person leave you? You seem so good. You know, you seem so great. Like, why would this person leave you? Why would this person leave you? Well, let's just start off with the fact that they showed up as the King of Swords, and this individual that they were dealing with was an Empress, okay? For starters, I feel like this Empress that they were dealing with just kind of outgrew this connection. I am getting that. The fact that this person showed up as a King of Swords, there's something, because the thing is that when the Empress gets involved with a King of Swords like energy, they kind of have like this like mentality of, I could change them, you know, like I could change them. And this is kind of why we started basically seeing like You know, them trying to essentially mold them into being the person that they, you know, wanted them to essentially be by telling them they need to work on this, they need to change that, they need to work on this, they need to change that too about themselves. Because when an Empress gets involved with a King of Swords like energy, they think, I could change this person, I can mold this person into being the man or the woman of my dreams. And so this is typically why, you know, an Empress will gravitate towards a King of Swords, because a King of Swords may have like a few things, right, that this Empress is essentially looking for within a person. They may lack a whole lot of other things. And that's when they jump into the mentality of, I can change them. I can mold them into being who I need them to be, who I want them to be. And I think that for them, they started to kind of realize that this person is just never going to really be what they need them to essentially be. An Empress also too is somebody who's at that stage in their life where they're looking for, you know, something long-term, something stable. They're looking for somebody they can build and establish a life with. It's kind of hard to build and establish a life with a King of Swords like energy, because a King of Swords like energy is still trying to like figure themselves out and figure life out, you know, and what they want to do like career-wise. And King of Swords is still trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? An Empress is somebody who's already established, already has a lot going for themselves. They've already figured out, you know, who they are and what they want to do with their life. And a King of Swords is somebody who's still trying to figure all of that out, you know? So I just kind of feel like these two, again, were just like oil and water. They just simply didn't mix. I don't feel like, I just don't feel like these two were on the same page, more of the story. I don't think that things ended, you know, bad between these two or anything like that. Like, I don't feel like this Empress left them because they cheated on them or whatever the case may be. I just feel like they left them because they started to kind of realize that they can't really mold this person into being who they need them to essentially be. It's too draining. It's too exhausting. And they just can't force this individual to be on the same page as them, you know? So I feel like that's kind of why they left the relationship. It wasn't over anything crazy, like, like they caught them cheating, or no. It didn't end for those reasons. It ended because this person just wasn't on the same page as them. They just weren't the person that they needed them to essentially be. And by them thinking that I could change this person, when they started to kind of go down that path of trying to change this person, started to quickly realize how draining and exhausting it actually is to mold this person to being who they need them to essentially be. So it kind of looks like they just decided to just give up, is basically what I'm getting, and just accept the fact that this person's never going to be the man of their dreams. They're never going to be the woman of their dreams, no matter how hard they try to mold them into being whoever they want them to be. It's just never going to happen. Is basically what I'm getting. So I don't feel like, you know, this relationship ended off of anything crazy. How does this person currently feel? Okay. And it's one thing that I will say is this, okay? I feel like this person did learn a lot from this previous relationship. I think this person, you know, definitely realized that there's certain things that they need to kind of work on. There's certain things that they need to essentially improve on when it comes down to themselves. So I wouldn't say that this relationship for them was a complete and utter waste of time, although they may find themselves essentially feeling like, oh man, I wasted my time. And no, I think that this person definitely learned a lot from this previous relationship and what they needed to kind of work on. I am definitely getting that. So the things that I guess this Empress had to essentially endure when they were with them aren't things that I see you having to essentially deal with and or endure, because it's things that this person has essentially worked on and changed about themselves since this dynamic between these two came to an end, okay? So like, just hypothetically speaking, let's just say that one of this Empress's complaints were that they spend the vast majority of their time hanging out with their friends and not with this Empress. And that could have caused like a massive strain on the relationship these two have with one another. Well, you know, that's not anything you got to worry about. You don't got to worry about this person, you know, spending more time with, you know, their friends than, you know, you, because it's something that they essentially realized played a massive role in why things didn't work out, you know, between them and this Empress that they were essentially dealing with. I just think that now that, you know, it's over and done with between these two, they've had nothing but time to really reflect on how they went about this relationship and what they could have done differently and what they shouldn't do moving forward within their next relationship. So I just kind of see this person kind of like applying what they learned in this previous relationship into this dynamic that they essentially share with you, just to like avoid tower moments, avoid things from going left, you know, between the two of you, things of that nature. So I think that this is somebody who, for the most part, has definitely learned a lot. What actions will Cancer take towards this person or moving forward? So we do have the Ace of Swords. We do have the Page of Wands. And then we also have the Five of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Queen of Swords. And then we also have the Queen of Cups. So you're showing up as the Queen of Wands to the Queen. And we also have the Queen of Cups out here. Okay. Okay. Well, believe it or not, the Queen of Wands is like the first queen that comes out first, and then the Queen of Swords follows, and then the Queen of Cups. You're just that type of person, Cancer, that needs to feel safe and secure with the person that you're with first before you turn around and give that individual your all. Like, you're not that type of person that's going to walk into a relationship and give that individual your all until you feel like they absolutely deserve your all, okay? Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But the fact that we see you going from the Queen of Wands to the Queen of Swords to the Queen of Cups, that's kind of telling me that, you know, I guess the more you talk to this person and get to know this person, spend time with this person, the more we start to kind of see you feel comfortable with them, feel safe and secure with them, you know, things of that nature. But with the Queen of Swords coming out here, before, right, you hit this Queen of Cups status where you're turning around and giving this individual, you know, your heart and your all. Before that, right, we do see you trying to really get to know this person and really figure out if this is somebody who's honestly trustworthy or not, okay? Now, this whole you wondering why this dynamic between, you know, them and this person that they were dealing with essentially, you know, came to an end is kind of stemming from a place of you trying to figure out, like, are they the reason why this dynamic between these two, you know, came to an end? Did they cheat on them? Did they betray them? Did they deceive them? Like, what the hell happened, you know? I just kind of feel like, whatever reason they are essentially giving you as to why things didn't necessarily work out between these two, you know, I do see you believing them. I am getting that, and I do see you accepting that's like the reason why things came to an end between these two. So whatever it is that they're conveying to you, it's causing you to basically feel like they're telling you the truth. I think that this person, is not going to have an issue with being honest with you when it comes down to why things didn't work out between these two. I think that this person will essentially admit that there were certain things that they shouldn't have done. I think this person is going to essentially admit that there's certain things they should have worked on. I think that this person is just going to be very honest and transparent with you. You know, they're not going to sit here and point the finger at the ex like, well, it's all their fault. You know what I mean? They're the reason why things didn't work out. I think that they're going to obviously convey to you the role that they essentially played in all this, and the role that, you know, this person from their past essentially played, you know, in all this. So I do see them being very honest and very truthful with you when it comes down to like why things didn't work out between these two. And I do see you trusting it, you know. I think that the only reason why you're super curious to know is because when you look at this person, you just kind of think to yourself like, oh my God, like they seem, you know, great. Like, I don't understand. Why would anybody leave somebody like this? Well, there you go. I just kind of feel like this Empress just was that type of person that just simply wasn't satisfied, you know, with their relationship, you know, with this person. And when an Empress gets involved with a King of Swords, they're never gonna be happy. They're never gonna be satisfied, because the Empress is always gonna find themselves, you know, bringing far more to the table than the King of Swords. And an Empress doesn't like that. An Empress doesn't want to deal with somebody who brings, you know, less than them to the table. You know what I mean? They just don't like that. They need to be with somebody who is, you know, equally yoked, right? So they need to be with somebody who's going to bring just as much to the table as they are. They need to be with somebody who has the same, you know, mindset as they do, you know, things of that nature. And it just kind of looks like these two they just simply weren't on the same page whatsoever. See, you and this person are very compatible to one another. You guys have the same, you know, outlook when it comes down to life. You guys are, you know, for the most part on the exact same page. You know, you guys can resonate with one another very well, you know, things of that nature. Hence why the two of you will go off and build and establish a life with one another, because I do see that happening just because you guys are on the same page. You know, maybe this Empress, you know, wanted to start a family, you know, and this King of Swords wasn't ready for all of that, you know what I mean? Because they were still trying to figure their life out and what they wanted to do career-wise and things of that nature. You know, that could have played a role in why things didn't necessarily work out. And maybe you're at that stage in your life where you're not really ready to have a kid right now. I mean, you want to one day, but not right now, because there's things that you want to do with your life first. You know, you could be dealing with somebody who's on that same page as you. Like, you know, I want to have a kid right now, but, you know, I mean, I want to have a kid, you know, one day, but just not right now, because there's certain things I need to figure out. Like, you guys are on the same page. You know what I mean? You guys are truly on the same page as one another. And this is why I see this relationship between the two of you actually working out, because you guys are on the same page as one another. Unlike them and this Empress that they were dealing with. This Empress could have wanted to go off and get married and, you know, have a kid. And maybe this person wasn't ready for all of that, causing the relationship to essentially go south, causing this Empress to feel like, you see, like, you're just not the one for me. You know what I mean? You're not even ready to get married. You're not even ready to start a family. You see what I mean? Like, I just feel like these two are not on the same page. Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles, we got the Four of Cups, and then we also have the Knight of Wands. Here we go. I do want to look at the Four of Cups, though, before I say anything. Tell me more about the Four of Cups, because I do see you guys pursuing a life with one another. This relationship is going to get pretty serious, nonetheless. I do see you falling for them, and I do see them falling for you. I do believe that there's going to come a point in time where the two of you you know, will go off and build a life with one another. So with the Ten of Pentacles coming out here, the two of you might end up getting a place together, sharing finances with one another, possibly getting married, starting a family, things of that nature. But we do have the Seven of Wands, we do have the Moon, and then we also have the Five of Wands out here, Jesus, to the Hangman, to the Empress. This Empress, man, truly did affect this person greatly. I am getting that. Like, even though I see this person pursuing you and a life with you, like, in the back of their head, it's like they still hear this Empress's voice telling them that they're not good enough and that they're never going to be good enough and blah, 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 blah. Which causes this person to feel, you know, less than within their relationship with you. When a person, this is very triggering for them. When a person tells them, you need to work on this, you need to work on that, you need to do better in this area, you need to do better in that area, like, it truly does trigger the hell out of them. Because that's all that this person is used to hearing. You need to work on this, you need to work on that, you need to change this, you need to change that, you need to stop doing this, you need to stop doing that, you need to start doing this, you need to start doing that. Oh my God, like, can you please just change this about yourself? Can you please change that? Like, they've heard it a million bajillion freaking times to the point where this is like a massive trigger for them. Like, if somebody tells them, you need to really work on this, you really, really need to work on that, like, it's very triggering for them. And unfortunately for them, and there's, you know, really no escaping this if you think about it, but there is going to come a point in time where they're going to get triggered by you. It is what it is. They're going to get very, very triggered by you. So there might be something that you discover about this person that you feel like they need to really work on, or that they really need to change about themselves. Like, you know, you might find out that this person's not the best at communicating, and you might, you know, relay that to them. Like, hey, like, you're just really not the best. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes down to, like, communication, like, can you please, like, you know, work on that? You know, communication's everything within a relationship, blah, 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 blah. Like, that in itself is going to be very triggering for them to hear from you, because it's causing them to essentially feel the exact same way this Empress made them feel. Like, they're not good enough, and they're never going to be good enough, and something's always fucking wrong with them, and they can never fucking get anything right. Like, there's a big difference, though. That's the thing too, right? Is that there's like a big difference between you and this Empress. There's a big freaking difference between you and this Empress. Like, how do I explain it? You're getting involved with someone that you perceive to be perfect for you. Granted, you might discover along the way that there's probably one or two things that they need to work on. Other than that, you look at them like they're perfect for you. When this Empress got involved with this King of Swords, they didn't look at them like, oh my God, you're perfect for me. They looked at them like, you're a project. I think I could change you. I think I could mold you into being who I need you to be. Fuck it, let's do it. Because an Empress is somebody who also loves a challenge. They're also known for that. You know what I mean? They love a challenge. So you got, through their perspective, they were looking at this King of Swords like, okay, like, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I love a challenge. This is going to be a project, but it's okay. Like, I got this. You know what I mean? So that's the big difference between the two of you. You know what I mean? That's the big difference between the two of you. Like, this Empress was constantly, nitpicking at everything, under the sun, because they got involved with somebody who they knew wasn't for them. They just were hoping that they could mold this individual into being for them, if that makes any sense. That's not like that with you. Like, you're getting involved with this person because you look at them like they're perfect for you, like they're good for you. Like, you're not looking at them like, okay, I could change this. I could change this about you. I could change that about you. I could mold you into being the man or the woman of my dreams. I could do this. I got this. It's going to be a little bit of a project, but I got this under control. You're not looking at this individual like they're a project. This Empress was looking at this individual like they're a project. Like they're a project. So that's the big difference. You're getting involved with someone that you view as like the one for you. They were getting involved with someone that they felt like they could essentially mold to be the one for them. That's the big difference between the two of you. And this person really did value like what this person had to say about them and how this person felt about them. Like, they really did value what this person had to say about them and felt about them. And this is kind of why it still kind of, affects them till this day, because in their eyes, it's like, well, if this Empress that I was so invested in, that I love so dearly, feels like I'm just not good enough, maybe I'm not good enough. Like, maybe I'm not. Like, they really did like value every little thing that will come out of this Empress's mouth, They really, really did. They did. So yeah, I just kind of feel like because this Empress, told them a lot of things about themselves. I'm sorry, because this Empress told them a lot of things about, them and what they need to work on and what they need to change. Like, this person that you're dealing with now took that as a sign of like, wow, like, I guess like I really am not good enough. I guess I'm never gonna actually be good enough now that I think about it, because if they're saying that I'm not good enough, then that must mean that I'm definitely not good enough, because they're saying I'm not good enough. Like, they really did value every little thing that this person would tell them. And they would literally take it straight to the heart. They would literally take it seriously, is basically what I'm getting. It's one of those things where it's like you'll never be good enough for the, for the wrong person. I feel like that's kind of like the situation that they were in. They were trying their hardest to be good enough for the wrong person. And I feel like this Empress was trying, their hardest to get this person to be the man and or woman of, their dreams. And it just simply didn't work out. You know what I mean? In their favor, basically. But yeah, I do feel like this is going to be a little bit triggering for them, Cancer, when you do notice something about them that they need to kind of like work on. Like, for example, like communication. When you tell this person that, it's gonna really trigger them, and it might cause them to like get very, very defensive. But it's just because they got so used to like somebody telling them like, oh my God, you're not doing this right. You're not doing that right. Like, oh my God, like you suck at this. You suck at that. Like, oh my God, like if you could just work on this, if you could just work on, like, they were very fucking mean. I am getting that. Like, this Empress was very freaking mean to them. Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, like, can you like please like work on like communication, because I just, I feel like our communication is it's just terrible. Like, can you just kind of work on that? And I'll work on it too on my end, but can we just kind of work on this, please? Because, communication's everything in a relationship, just saying, like, I feel like we need to get better at communicating, or I just feel like you need to get better at communicating. Like, this one over here, like, they would freaking come at them, left field, like, and they would be very mean about it too. Yeah. And they would be very, very mean about it. I am definitely getting that. Like, they never really, yeah, I don't think that this person ever really did like approach, certain like situations with them in like a gentle manner. I think that they were just super mean about it. You know what I mean? Like, you really need to freaking work on this because you suck at communicating, and I'm sick of this, and blah, 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 and you suck. And like, I just don't recommend that you go about it in that way, because if you do, then they're going to get very triggered. They're going to get very defensive. So just take a very gentle approach when it comes down to you noticing certain things that they need to work on and or change about themselves. Because if you go at it the way that this one over here did, being very argumentative, rude, and mean about it, it's just going to cause this person to feel defensive, and it's going to cause this person to fall into this energy of, oh, I'm just not good enough, you know? All right, but that's what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated, and I will see you guys in your